thinking about the question of why younger children seem to be better at language acquisition. There's some experimental support for this. Less is more, that is, having less cognitive resources to focus on the task. It leads to more language achievement, as it were, coming from Finn and colleagues 2014. So in this particular study, adult subjects listen to an artificial language they're meant to learn. So it's like a language learning scenario. And one group was told to pay close attention, to be active, engaged listeners, while the other group listened more passively. They were, say, distracted by doing a puzzle or coloring or otherwise, just it was kind of going on in the background. They were not devoting their full cognitive resources to it, right? So again, the active listeners had more cognitive resources focused on the task, while the passive listeners had fewer cognitive resources focused on the task. So the active ones were more adult-like when we think about learning language, while the passive listeners were more childlike if we're thinking about it that way. And it turned out that the passive listeners outdid the active listeners when it came to learning morphology, those pieces of meaningful units that combine together. Which is very interesting, right? So this is from Amy Finn, who's the lead author, and we found that effort helps you most in situation for figuring out all kinds of things about language, but when trying to learn morphology, the way that pieces of meaning fit together, at least in the artificial language we created, it's actually worse when you try.